Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We good? You can hear me? Good. All right. We're testing out this room again. We haven't celebrated a Kabbalat Shabbat service in the chapel since before COVID. And so we're trying to adapt with our post-pandemic
It is germ-free, yes.
accoutrement, camera, sound, all of that good stuff. And I think we got 66%.
Should I turn the lights back on now that we're not using slides?
I think I like it. Can everybody see their prayer books?
Okay, great.
Good. Okay. That was the concern. So we're just so grateful to have this opportunity to welcome Shabbat together, both physically present as well as in our digital sanctuary. We welcome you and wish you Shabbat Shalom and invite you to wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Turn to each other, people behind you, in front of you, across the aisle from you. If you don't know them, please introduce yourselves to them. We continue with the reading that is reading number 1, and I invite you to join me responsively. And for those of you in our digital sanctuary, hopefully you're able to see the reading. No, they're not going to be able to see the reading either. We apologize for that, but you'll hear the reading. May the light of the Shabbat candles cause us to see each other as part of our shared community.
May the light of the Shabbat candles glow with our warm feelings for all members of our community.
May the light of the Shabbat candles reveal our faces to be reflections of the other members of our open, caring community.
May the light of the Shabbat candles help us to recognize the needs of others and show us a way to help them.
May the lights of the Shabbat candles guide us to see a path to a better life for all and show us a way to move there together.
May the light of the Shabbat candles encourage us to find and to share life's truths and use them to improve all our lives.
May the light of the Shabbat candles assist us to lift our spirits to help ourselves and others.
In the glow of the Shabbat candles, may we bond together to become an even better shared community.
We invite Randy and Charles to come forward to kindle the Sabbath lights and to help us with the Kiddush, the blessing over the Sabbath wine. Amen. Amen. L'chaim. We continue with the Sabbath hymn, Lecha Dodi, You can find it on page 20 in the thinner volumes. If you have a thicker volume of our Siddur, page 138.
Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shimo tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mikor habaracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat chila. Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, bo'i chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We welcome Shabbat with candles, with wine representing the light and the joy that we feel. We welcome Shabbat in song as well with the beautiful hymn Lecha Dodi. And we continue our worship with a call in response, ready to continue to direct our hearts towards God, our hearts towards one another. Page 28, page 146. We invite you to rise as you are able. I invite you to join with me responsively in reading number 2. a piece entitled Psalm 59 for the month of Kislev. Slowly, you ease the chill upon us, sending midday sun to warm us. Through the shattered glass of yesterday's pain, you move us ahead into winter's dark.
Balance the dark with your light, O Eternal. Balance the cold with the warmth of your care.
You train us to look at both sides. You give us a month of duality to contemplate. 2 wives, twin sons, a man with 2 names.
A nation not knowing its own identity.
Balance our questions with your clues, O Eternal. Balance our fears with your comforting hand.
And in the grip of Kislev's deepest cold, light so brief we could swallow it in one gulp, balance the darkness with shining eyes, smoothed windows cleared to broadcast the growing light, pinpoints of your living flame, answers to our winter yearning.
We continue with our declaration of faith, the Shema, page 34 or 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Reading number 3, Light in Kislev. In the season of briefer days and deeper darkness, as catkins rattle their emptiness, and winds and fogs swirl past, swiping damp cold across the world, beaten like olives down to our essence, we reach into our heart pockets, grasp the Or Haganuz, and rise, spreading form and meaning into the darkness. We call dormant brightness into being, lighting a candle every night, creating joyous acts of resistance with every waxen rod that blooms into flame. Our ancestors were able to kindle light once again, escaping the slavery, the bondage of Egypt, and entering into a new chapter, a chapter marked by freedom, by joy, by dance, and by song. Micha Mocha, page 40, page 158.
Kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh, Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh. Malechotecha ra'u vanecha, Hukei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Ze'eli anu ve'ameru. Adonai Eloh le'olam va'ed. Adonai Eloh le'olam va'ed. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai. Yai rai 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 rai.
We continue with reading number 4, The Light of You, a prayer. As we bring healing to those in need of strength,
May our spirits be filled with the light of you.
as we bring hope to a broken world,
May our hearts be softened by the light of you.
as we bring understanding to those who are suffering,
May our arms be opened by the light of you.
as we bring awareness to hatred,
May our anger be lessened by the light of you.
as we bring calm for inner peace,
May our breath be deepened by the light of you.
and may you guide us to those who seek our gifts, leading them gently and lovingly to the light of you. Amen. The Shamru embraces the idea that our celebration of Shabbat is an opportunity for us not only to reconnect with ourselves and those that we love, but to be able to reconnect with God and indeed with our ancestors, with the entire scope of Jewish history. Shabbat gives us that opportunity to take a deep breath and to refresh and re-ensoul as we reconnect. Vishamru on page 44 or 162.
Shameru B'nai Yisrael Et HaShabbat la'asot Et HaShabbat L'dorotam Berit olam B'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael Uti le'olam B'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael Uti le'olam Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai tashamayim ve'et haaretz vayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shameru B'nai Yisrael Et HaShabbat la'asot Et HaShabbat L'dorotam Berit olam.
We continue now on page 46 or page 164. We invite you to rise as you are able for the tefillah.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Teilatecha, Ufi Agi Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Hastei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atarav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mi Chamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Mechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Ata L'chachayot HaKol, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechaye HaKol.
Please be seated. We continue with a prayer for the state of Israel on page 259. Shalu Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlau Ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper together. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We continue with our prayer for Shalom on page 60, page 178. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon טסים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, טסים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, טסים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם. טסים
We invite you to take these next few moments for the prayers not written in our prayer books, but the prayers that we can each find written in our hearts in this moment of silent reflection. We have this moment now to think of those who are struggling with illness of body, or illness of spirit, maybe even be we ourselves who are engaged in this struggle for healing. I invite those of you who are present in our physical space to share the names out loud of the people that you are thinking of in this moment, and for those participating in our digital sanctuary to share those names in the comments section. Irene Barkin, Alan Terry Burke, Sarah Karova, Nigella Davis, Lori Kaplan, Larry Cart, Joel Kaufman, Jim Clapman, Asher Levin, Mark Pierce, Ronald Rubin, Jackie Schistel, Arthur Sirk, Jocelyn Snower, Patricia Weinfuss, Mark Weiss, Beth Weiner, and George Wittenberg. We also think especially of those families right now who are
engaged in the struggle to keep hope alive, those family members who are still being held hostage in Gaza, and for all who are suffering in that area, struggling to heal mind and body. Page 253, you'll find the words to Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor Abraha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor Abraha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
In these moments, it is difficult to know exactly how to respond when somebody asks you, "How are you doing?" Sometimes I choose to answer, "Well, I'm doing okay and the world is on fire," or "The world is on fire and my immediate circle is safe and healthy and doing well," or "I can't tell you how I'm doing, but I can tell you what I'm doing." How am I taking this time and managing all the things that we have to manage, and trying to keep perspective and remain optimistic? The question is often asked, are you a glass half full kind of a person, or are you a glass half empty kind of a person? Rabbi Heaps's response is, well, the glass is always full, because it's either full of stuff or full of air, or it's full of something. Right, it's still stuff, right? And so another answer that I've heard, rather than choosing one or the other, is the response, I'm really happy to have a glass, right? And understanding that there is an opportunity to express gratitude at every given moment, because there are things that are good in our lives. There is blessing in our lives. And Hanukkah, which just came to a close today, actually. Today was the last day of Hanukkah. Last night, we lit the Chanukiah with all 8 candles plus the shamash, creating this amazing light. And so at times people ask, what's the meaning of lighting the Chanukiah, the Hanukkah menorah? Well, we know it represents the 8-day celebration. It represents the miracle of oil. But what else can it represent for us? And one of the responses is that it can represent that there's this opportunity that we have, not just at Hanukkah, but particularly when things are darkest, to find that light within and to bring it forward, right? It's not just about lighting candles in a physical sense. It's about recognizing that we all have a light that is within us, a spark that is within us, this goodness the spark of the divine, the soul, however we wish to identify it, and that we can bring that forward for ourselves, but even more importantly, for others, to help dispel the darkness of the moment. There's a question that I saw asked, and I don't remember being asked this question before, seeing it asked before, that we know that the little cruse of oil, the thinking was that it was only supposed to be enough for one day, right? But it lasts for 8 days, long enough for more oil to be produced and to continue kindling that eternal lamp, that eternal light that was in the temple, the newly rededicated temple in Jerusalem. So we know the second day miracle, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, the sixth day, the seventh day, the eighth day, but what was the miracle of the first day? Right? If there was oil enough to burn for one day, there's not really a miracle there to be had. And the response I found was so beautiful, that the miracle was that people had the optimism to light that lamp, even knowing that it was only enough for one day, to light that and to be optimistic, to be hopeful that somehow they would make it to be able to create more oil for that lamp. That they wouldn't wait, that they wouldn't just put it aside and say, well, we don't have enough, so we can't even start. But to have that optimism and to know, and to have that sense of hope. And so in thinking about this, how do we cultivate this sense of hope today when there are so many things in our world that are conspiring against that sense of hope, that continue to pummel our sense of optimism? Well, again, turning to the dialogue and the debate around Hanukkah, I think gives us a possible response. So we know that there are specific instructions about how you place the candles in the Hanukkah menorah, right? You place them in the menorah from right to left, and we light the candles from left to right. We know that we start out with one candle and build up to 8 candles, right? Each day we add a candle. But we also know that there was a question about that. Do we start with 8 candles and take away one each day to represent the diminishing of the oil? It was miraculous that it burned for more than one day, but 8 days. So we take, because it still had to be consumed to a certain extent each day. It didn't remain solid. And the opposite argument that, no, that the miracle increased each day, right? First day, okay, not a big deal. Second day, wow, okay, maybe we miscalculated, but okay. Third day, a little bit more of a miracle. We might have miscalculated, but not by that much. And the fourth day, and the awe, the sense of awe and wonder continues to build. Well, there's another approach to this argument between, and it happened between the school of Hillel and the school of Shammai, 2 first century scholars who we have debates preserved of them back and forth. And ultimately, with these two, it was always understood that each was arguing for the benefit of knowledge rather than ego, and that they were seeking to find what was the best answer and not to prove each other right or wrong in the response. So already we see a little bit of a setup here. So there was a commentator, he was known as the Sfat Emet, the language of truth. That was his pen name, I guess, or the name that he was given by his disciples. And he brings forward a teaching that he learned from his grandfather. He explained the disagreement between Beit Shammai, the school of Shammai, and Beit Hillel, the school of Hillel, as to whether one increases day by day the candles or decreases the candles or the lights. In that day it was oil burning. He explained that in the lamp there is an aspect of illumination and combustion, right? candle illuminates, and there is combustion. And that's an aspect to look at. He explained that being to burn the waste material and to purge the inside by fire of desire for God, may God be blessed, right? This is the combustion that occurs. And Beit Shammai are of the view that initially it's necessary to, and now he brings in a verse from the Psalms, to depart from evil and then do good, right? That you've got to get rid of the evil inclination in order to be able to do the good. That's the combustion, that you need to purge that, to get rid of that in order to do the good. And thus the practice of decreasing day by day, showing the consumption of the light, of the candles. And Beit Hillel, the school of Hillel, are of the view that the main idea is to increase day by day, such that the enthusiasm that illuminates through him will purify his body and will automatically purge the waste material, right? So that there are two ways to get at the same goal, which is the service of God, which is doing the work of God, doing acts of loving kindness, right? So in one sense, you got to burn out, you got to purge, right? And the other is saying, well, no, there's another way. You can bring light to that, you can bring illumination in order to get to the same place. And then he connects it to this week's Torah portion, Miketz. And you remember in Miketz, Jacob meets his grandsons for the very first time, Joseph's kids, right? Ephraim and Manasseh. And Jacob wants to bless the kids. And, and he puts his hand on Manasseh, the younger of the two, with his right hand, and puts his left hand on Ephraim, the oldest of the two boys, right? And Joseph tries to correct him and saying, no, the blessing of the firstborn goes to Ephraim, not Manasseh. And the way that the Sfat Emet looks at this is that same thing. Now, with a name play on what Ephraim means and what Manasseh means. And that of illuminating and of hope versus that of the combustion, the burning first. And this connection that, again, with Joseph presenting one position, Jacob presenting another position, but not necessarily at odds, and understanding that, yes, we can have two different approaches, understanding that we share the same goal. We have a different understanding of how we can get there. Or we have a way of doing it that's better for me. It might not be the right way for you to do it, but we're looking to get to that same place, right? That same place. And to do so with a sense that both of us are working towards a common goal, a shared goal, and have a different path as a way to get there. And I thought this was very, very powerful in this moment, that it doesn't matter which path, as long as it is for the greater good. So it doesn't matter, essentially, whether we add candles each day or take away candles each day. It's how are we approaching this? What is the goal? The goal is to bring ourselves closer to one another, closer to God, to remember a past where miracles happened or things that we interpreted as miracles happened, and how they can still happen for us in our day. That sense of optimism, that sense of wholeness, and understanding that even in the dark, we can continue to kindle light by bringing more understanding into the world and not being locked into a singular path, and this is the only way. Right? This is a hard thing for people to do these days because of the polarized nature of the society in which we live. And yet, with optimism and with hope, maybe we can appreciate that we're all working towards the same goal, even if we choose different paths in how to get there. So the miracle of that first day was the sense of optimism and hope, that in kindling that light would be enough to dispel the darkness. May we understand that as we go out into the world, that we can bring that light and that hope and that same miraculous optimism into the darkness of our world. May this Shabbat, at the end of Hanukkah, find that light within coming forth, bringing great light and understanding to all. Shabbat Shalom. Our ancestors had the wherewithal, the optimism to kindle light in the darkness. That same sense we bring to this moment of praising God with the words of Aleinu, that in this moment we continue to approach life with a spirit of optimism. Page 282, we invite you to rise as you are able.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekru l'leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Please be seated. Page 290. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. For those participating in our digital sanctuary, I invite you to share the names of loved ones that you are especially thinking of in this moment. And for those present in our physical space, if it is your custom to do so, I invite you to rise as I share the name of your loved one. We remember the recent passings of Barbara Don, Jarvis Freitas, Dorothy Kale, Stuart Levin, Lois Lurie, Earl Kuntz, Sue Pinsky-Gardner, and Scott Silver. And just this week, Fred Rothschild, father of David and his Merle, Lisa and her Greg, Sarah and her Stan, grandfather of JJ and his Victoria, Emily, Zachary, Charlie and his Abby, Miriam, Michael, and Katie, brother-in-law of Emmy Rothschild, and Deborah Kay, daughter of Charles Dan, mother of Jason and his Brooke, grandmother of Brady and Mia, wife of Michael, sister of Rob and his Erica, and Julie and her Brad. We also call into our minds the countless civilians caught in the crossfire of war, terror, and violence. We remember the following his yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death occurred at this season in years past. Arthur Berg, Megan Bolin, Sarah Brickman, Elaine Chait, Leroy Lee Chalemsky, Ravetta Chess, Bernard Chinsky, Marilyn Courtney, Esther Daniel, Leonard Dardick, Herman Fink, Hank Fishman, Helga Franks, Bernice Goldberg, William Gordon, Michael Harris, Chuck Hirsch, Mayor Mike Israel, Jean Cantor, Fanny Krashen, Alan Lesser, Hyatt Clement Leverett, Jean Mayer, Shirley Michaels, Cliff Modrow, David Onyxt, Fan Pearl, Irving Perjansky, Molly Shearer-Rieger, Eva Rycoin, Mason Sager, Harriet Schwartz, Clara Siegel, Harry Setchik, Marty Sherman, Evelyn Fisher-Sherman, Rose Singer, Jeffrey Spreckman, Eileen Stein, Goodwin Steinberg, Florence Svian, Harry Waxman, Janet Ann Weinstein, Albert Weisbach, Hannah Wertheimer, Philip Zabin, and Rose Zal. Are there other names that we are remembering in this moment? Zichronam livracha. May the memory of the righteous always be for a blessing. Together as one family, I invite you to rise as you are able for Kaddish Yatom, page 294 or 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'galal v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach leolam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oh, say shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all who are bereaved among us. And together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm Jerry Tater. I'm on the executive committee here at the synagogue, and I want to welcome you all and thank you for a very meaningful service, and thank you guys for beautiful music. But I want to thank all of you for being here too, because what I find important in being here is sharing with the community and being with you all and the feeling, the bonds that we have during good times and times of mourning and sorrow. There are many activities going on. Please check our schedule. You can look at the schedule outside, check online. We have wonderful programs, educational programs, music programs, our school, and so on. Please check them out. There's two I do want to mention in particular. This Sunday from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, the Brotherhood Family Bingo. This is for the entire family, so bring the wives, bring the husbands, bring the kids. The Brotherhood will offer free bingo, and if they only offered that, we would see a Dayenu. It's enough, but there's more. They're also going to be giving free gifts to the people who win. My guess is most everyone will win Dayenu, but there's even more. They will also be serving dinner, so you don't have to make dinner at home. Come out, play bingo, have fun, and they're serving pizza. On Tuesday, we are very happy to welcome back to Temple Jeremiah Orrin Jacobson, who is the executive director of Project Shema, an organization which addresses contemporary anti-Semitism, something that is obviously in the front of a lot of our minds right now. This program, to be clear, is not focusing on Israeli policy or any actions being taken. It is addressing the issue of what is going on with contemporary anti-Semitism, and it will provide concrete actions that each of us can take to deal with this issue. Please go on the website and sign up for the event. Orrin Jacobson's wonderful, and it will be an excellent program. Shabbat Shalom.
We bring our worship to a close this evening with the nigun with which we opened our worship this evening. I invite you to rise as you are able and remain standing for our closing blessing. Blessed are we as we gather together to welcome Shabbat, to bring light to one another, to bring light into our world. Blessed may we be from this time and always. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.